McQuestion. For over 25 years, talking about things that matter with people who care. Production of McQuestion is made possible in part by individual viewers, supporters of the Foundation for Responsible Television, CF Accountants and Consultants, adding value to clients throughout the region, the University of Texas at Dallas, creating the future.
You know, Saudi Arabia and Iran are two countries who have real issues with each other and with the United States. On this program, we'll take a close look at both countries. We'll examine their issues with each other and with other countries in the region, and we'll especially try to give you a new understanding on how oil and the Iranian nuclear deal fit into the puzzle. To help us with this, let's meet the experts. And first joining us by Skype from San Diego is Saeed Dalabani. He's a Lebanese-American cultural economist, author, theorist, and consultant specializing in cultural change based on a value system approach. He's on the board of the Center for Human Emergence Middle East, and he's the author of this book, which is called Memenomics, the Next Generation Economic System. So, Saeed, can you hear us okay in San Diego?
Can hear you fine, Dennis. Thank you.
Okay, good. We'll be back to you in just a few minutes. In the studio, on my left, is Buck Revell. He's no stranger to people who watch this program. He's an award-winning 30-year veteran of the FBI, where he retired with the title of Associate Deputy Director. Today, he heads his own international security consulting group. He's chairman of the board of the Middle East Media Research Institute, where he's a frequent guest on all the major TV networks. Buck, welcome back to the program.
Thanks.
And sitting next to you is someone who's no stranger to you or to us either. I think, Bob, frankly, last time you were on the program, I'm not even sure if you'd even been to Saudi Arabia yet, but now you have. Ambassador Robert Jordan had a relatively simple life as an attorney with Baker Botts until 9/11. In the aftermath, he was appointed ambassador to Saudi Arabia from 2001 to 2003. Today, he's a diplomat in residence and adjunct professor of political science in the John G. Tower Center for Political Studies at SMU. He's a frequent TV guest on network programs as well, and he's also the author of Desert Diplomat, which is this, Inside Saudi Arabia Following 9/11, a place I'm glad I was not. So, Bob, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Dennis.
I am particularly delighted that you're here for a lot of reasons, and we read about what happens in the Middle East. Some people can even find the Middle East, not everybody, but tell that viewer, first of all, just a bit about how you got that assignment, and then sort of bring us up to date about what you found when you went there 15 years ago, and bring us on up to what you see today.
Thanks, Dennis. As I put it, I was an innocent lawyer minding my own business in Dallas when my friend the president asked me to go to Saudi Arabia. The Saudis do not give diplomatic credentials to a career foreign service officer as the U.S. ambassador. They want someone who is a friend of the president, who can get the White House on the phone, who can have his calls returned and speak for the president, and also who doesn't have a career to protect and can go over the heads of the bureaucracy. And so those were my credentials. And it worked okay. But I will tell you, I arrived in Saudi Arabia in October of 2001, about 4 weeks after 9/11. And of course the question then was, are the Saudis friend or foe? I was met at the airport by my 6 new best friends, my Saudi bodyguards, and it turned out they were extremely loyal, but I didn't know at that moment what was going to happen. The Saudis, when I arrived there, were in denial about the hijackers being Saudis. 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudis. And so I went and paid calls on some of the senior royals in the government. I met with Prince Salman, who at that time was the governor of Riyadh and is now the king. He said this could possibly not have been Saudis who were the hijackers. This had to have been an Israeli plot. The Mossad is the only one clever enough to have done this. I then went to see the Minister of Interior, Prince Nayef, and he had the same story. And it really wasn't until I got to Prince Saud al-Faisal, the foreign minister, who was a graduate of Princeton. He spoke better English than I did. And he understood it. And he understood that they had an extremism problem in their midst, that they had neglected, that they had to do something about, but it was going to take a tremendous cultural transformation to be successful. Over time, we ended up getting more cooperation, but as Buck would know, we needed their cooperation at the outset, and we didn't get it. We needed them to let us help interrogate the suspects who might have been part of these cells and part of the trail leading us to what happened with the hijackers. They wouldn't share with us the pocket litter that they would pick up from them, the computer hard drives or the cell phone records or information. And so we had a tremendous difficulty in getting them to cooperate. It took really about almost a year. But we also had a problem in our own government with the CIA and the FBI communicating with each other. They wouldn't share information. One of them would ask me to go into the Saudis and get information, and the Saudis would say, oh, I gave that to the other agency 2 months ago. And so we had that bit at the beginning. But finally, if you fast forward to about May of 2003, the night of May 12, 2003 was a turning point. That was when 3 Western housing compounds were bombed by al-Qaeda suicide bombers. Quite a number of Americans were injured and killed, but also a number of Saudis and other Muslims were killed. And I went in to see the Crown Prince the next day with Colin Powell, actually, who happened to be there. And he said to me that he owed me an apology. I had asked for more security at these compounds, and